Hello, basketball people, we have news. Let's go to more news about the Golden State Warriors. I ask you to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I am a Warriors fan. Lonzo Ball is a great player, an all-star candidate, but a serious injury kept him out of the NBA for a long time. He has returned and is being considered for a move to the Warriors. Lonzo Ball is a solid player and would bring many benefits to the team. The Golden State Warriors have a lot of questions to answer this offseason. Stephen Curry's career is coming to an end at some point, and the Warriors want to do whatever it takes to make one more run at an NBA title. As such, Jonathan Kuminga's name has been tossed around in trade circles, which is no surprise given his decreased role and up-and-down time with the team. Eric Pincus of Bleacher Report put together an interesting three-team trade involving the Warriors, Chicago Bulls, and Charlotte Hornets that features a flurry of players. Here's the full trade from Pincus. Bulls get Jonathan Kuminga, from Warriors. Warriors get Lonzo Ball, from Bulls. Jalen Smith, from Bulls. Josh Okogie, from Hornets. 2026, Portland Trail Blazers protected first-rounder, from Bulls. 2029 second-rounder, from Hornets. 2029 Denver Nuggets second-rounder, from Hornets. 2031 second-rounder, from Hornets. 2031 Phoenix Suns second-rounder, from Hornets. Hornets get Moses Moody, from Warriors. Jevon Carter, from Bulls. So, the Warriors trade Moody and Kuminga and somehow get back one first-round pick, 4 second-round picks and 3 players, with Lonzo Ball coming to town. Now, why would Golden State do it? It is a legitimate question, especially given Ball's health issues, but here is what Pincus wrote. Ball has struggled to stay healthy but is an incredible fit alongside the Warriors stars. He plays defense, moves the ball and can catch and shoot. The team could also use an athletic big in Smith, who didn't fit in with Chicago. A year prior, Smith shot 42.4% from three-point range for the Indiana Pacers. He is good size, 6 feet 10 inches, but is mobile at 215 pounds. Okogie is still young, turning 27 before the season, and is a smart, experienced wing defender. The Warriors move on from Kuminga, get some low-risk high-reward players in Ball, Smith and Okogie, and refill their draft pick arsenal a bit in a well-rounded deal. Warriors' path to stretch big blows wide open with latest Jonathan Kuminga rumors. A new team could be in the mix. Jonathan Kuminga's future as a restricted free agent has been complicated by a general lack of reported rival interest, leading to a feeling that the young forward could return to the Golden State Warriors this offseason. The Chicago Bulls and Miami Heat have both been floated as potential destinations for Kuminga, yet the latter would be contingent on missing out on a trade for former Warrior Kevin Durant. There is another team who may have interest though, and who could potentially provide Golden State with a more upside stretch big option than what Chicago could offer with Nikola Vucevic. The Utah Jazz could have interest in Jonathan Kuminga. In identifying potential teams for Kuminga on the latest episode of the Warriors Plus Minus podcast, Tim Kawakami of the San Francisco Standard pinpointed the Utah Jazz as a team who's had interest in the former 7th overall pick. I had heard Kuminga was somebody Utah was interested in picking up, Kawakami said while suggesting that fascination dated back to last offseason when Golden State were exploring a trade for Lauri Markkanen. If the Jazz were to renew interest in Kuminga as a sign-and-trade target, the next question becomes whether they would have anyone of legitimate value that would interest the Warriors in return. Markkanen was obviously a huge target for Golden State 12 months ago, but his new exorbitant contract easily puts him out of range when it comes to a Kuminga sign-and-trade. That leaves John Collins as the obvious option for the Warriors as a player who would fit their need for more size and shooting in the front court. It was reported earlier this week that Golden State held interest in the 27-year-old just months ago prior to the midseason deadline, so it's not impossible to envisage the franchise exploring a move again. Even then it would be difficult to execute though, and would almost certainly require an additional salary like Moses Moody. At that point, giving up both 2021 lottery picks for Collins on an expiring $26.6 million contract probably isn't worth it. Still, Collins' athleticism and younger age would make him a far more suitable option than Vucevic, who's been regularly considered as a sign-and-trade option. Collins had a strong season in Utah, averaging 19.0 points and 8.2 rebounds on 52.7% shooting from the floor and 39.9% from three-point range. Very few of the floated scenarios are ideal for the Warriors, suggesting their best option may still be to re-sign Kuminga and have him return at least until he becomes trade-eligible next season. Warriors could acquire former Defensive Player of the Year via trade. The Memphis Grizzlies are making moves. After trading Desmond Bane to the Orlando Magic for a haul of 4 unprotected first-round picks, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and Cole Anthony, questions linger about Memphis. Are the Grizzlies pivoting toward a rebuild or retooling around their remaining stars, Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr.? A bold trade proposal from CBS Sports' Sam Quinn has added fuel to the fire, suggesting a deal that could reshape both the Grizzlies and the Golden State Warriors. Quinn posted the trade idea to X on Sunday in the form of a poll for his followers. Jaren Jackson for Moses Moody, Buddy Hield and 3 unprotected first-round picks. The hypothetical trade would see Memphis part with their 2023 Defensive Player of the Year, Jackson Jr., a 25-year-old two-way star who averaged 22.2 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 1.2 steals last season while shooting 37.5% from three. Follow the sporting news on WhatsApp. In return, the Grizzlies would acquire Moody, a 23-year-old wing with defensive upside, Hield, a veteran sharpshooter, and 3 unprotected first-round picks, a package that aligns with Memphis' recent focus on accumulating draft capital. For the Warriors, acquiring Jackson would be a game-changer. With Stephen Curry, 37, Jimmy Butler, 35, and Draymond Green, 35, anchoring an aging core, Golden State's championship window is narrowing. Jackson's ability to space the floor, switch defensively, and protect the rim would address their need for a long-term frontcourt anchor. His fit alongside Curry's gravity and Butler's playmaking could elevate the Warriors' title odds in a loaded Western Conference. Parting with Moody, Hield, and 3 unprotected picks would be a significant price, but one that Golden State would certainly be willing to pay if Jackson Jr. was available. But are the Grizzlies at all interested in moving Jackson? That depends on Memphis' long-term vision. The Bane trade suggests a willingness to stockpile assets, and adding 3 more first-round picks could position them for a loaded 2026 NBA draft. Yet, trading Jackson, a cornerstone of their identity, would signal a dramatic shift, especially after recent reports from ESPN's Tim Bontemps indicated Memphis plans to extend Jackson's contract to prevent him from hitting free agency in 2026. The trade's feasibility remains uncertain. Jackson's defensive dominance and offensive versatility make him nearly untouchable unless the return is overwhelming. Warriors can trade a Brady Beal KFAZ 30 Pontos por Jogo, Warriors a definer. Hello, basketball people, we have news. Let's go to more news about the Golden State Warriors. I ask you to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I am a Warriors fan. The Golden State Warriors showed promise after trading for Jimmy Butler, but still failed to achieve the ultimate goal of winning a championship. After fans became frustrated with Curry and Butler being the only go-to guys on the roster, they have been advised to make a move this offseason. Although they managed to advance to the second round of the playoffs this year, they did eventually sustain defeat against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Golden State of Mind's Mark DeLucci believes Bradley Beal could be a possible target for the Dubs, and might be exactly what they need heading into next season. On paper, the Warriors are the best fit in the league for Beal, where he would immediately become their second-best scorer, provide plenty of spacing for Kuminga, Butler, and Green, while also joining a defensive scheme that should be well-equipped to make up for his shortcomings, said DeLucci on Wednesday. If the Dubs were able to land Beal and retain Kuminga, they would have enough secondary scoring to prioritize defense with the rest of the roster. Beal has certainly seen his better days and is amid rumors himself. In his prime with the Washington Wizards, he had 2 seasons scoring over 30 points per game, and he was elected as an All-Star 3 times. Nowadays, he is a part of a struggling Phoenix Suns team looking to reshape their roster any way they can. Golden State could benefit from a veteran scoring presence like Beal to take the load off of Curry and Butler. Warriors predicted to land this NBA champion, after players' most recent comments. The Golden State Warriors are looking for some reliable players for the roster next season. They need to build a team that can compete in the regular season and thrive in the playoffs. That's why many Warriors free agency rumors have the team linked to various veterans around the league. One player who has been a supposed Warriors free agent target is Bobby Portis. The Warriors' Bobby Portis rumors have only gotten stronger since the Milwaukee Bucks' most recent comments. Portis recently went on Run It Back and was asked about his thoughts on the Warriors' free agency rumors. Michelle Beadle asked him what goes through his mind when people are connecting him to a franchise like the Warriors. "My first thought when it comes to these reports is, how do these people know so much?" said Portis. This response has many Warriors fans quite excited. Instead of shutting down the rumors, Portis all but confirmed them. This has many predicting that the Warriors will find a way to sign Portis this offseason. Portis' connection with Steve Kerr from his time with Team USA is supposedly one of the big reasons he would consider joining the Warriors. That and probably because he wants to contend for another NBA championship. Although the Warriors aren't going to be able to offer Portis as much money or playing time as he could get on other teams, they can offer him the chance to play important playoff basketball once again. Portis could end up being the perfect Warriors free agent target. Portis brings scoring and size to the Warriors' frontcourt, where they severely lack it. Portis also knows what it takes to play championship-level basketball. If the Warriors don't have to break the bank to get Bobby Portis on their roster, it's a move they need to consider strongly. Warriors only have one solution to appease fans in Jonathan Kuminga trade. This is starting to make a lot of sense. Given only 50% of Jonathan Kuminga's next contract will count as outgoing salary for the Golden State Warriors, finding reasonable value for the franchise in a sign-and-trade is becoming increasingly problematic ahead of free agency. It's perhaps the key reason why Kuminga's return to the Warriors could be considered more likely than not, but there's still a way for Mike Dunleavy Jr. and the front office to thread the needle by obtaining a similarly young player of significant talent. Coby White may be the most obvious solution in a sign-and-trade. Chicago Bulls guard Coby White has quickly emerged as a prominent trade candidate for Golden State this offseason, with the Stars potentially aligning for a deal to be struck between the two teams in the coming weeks. The Bulls have reported interest in Kuminga as a target, but also face their own restricted free agency equation with young guard Josh Giddey. Given White is eligible for a significant pay rise next offseason, it's unlikely that Chicago want to pay both he and Giddey over the long term. Chicago could therefore have interest in a White-Kuminga swap, not because they think the Warrior forward is a markedly better player, but because he offers a threat in the front court rather than the back court. White was again mentioned as a trade target possibility on the latest episode of the Warriors Plus Minus podcast, with Tim Kawakami specifically stating that he's the level of player we're talking about that is gettable for Kuminga. The 25-year-old makes just $12.9 million on the final year of his contract, making him an acquirable target in a Kuminga sign-and-trade and one that may interest Golden State. While a guard with questionable defense may not be exactly what the Warriors need, they do need a legitimate third scorer and shot creator to support the aging duo of Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler. Kuminga does present as that solution, but White's far superior shooting skills might make him a far better fit around the current Golden State core. He's also far more proven as a primary option within an NBA offense, with the former 7th overall pick averaging a career-high 20.1 points this season on 45.3% shooting from the floor and 37% from three-point range. The most ideal outcome for the Warriors may be to retain Kuminga, then trade for White separately in a deal involving their other 2021 lottery pick in Moses Moody, along with the necessary draft assets to make it happen. Yet if it does end up as a Kuminga sign-and-trade, White may be the only solution where Warrior fans feel comfortable and appeased with what the franchise gets back for their enigmatic forward.